Welcome back. Well, today I am joined by Donna Rain Shostak, and she is here on behalf of Third. Well, Donna, thank you for joining me and welcome. How are you?
Just fine, and delighted to be here with you this morning, Lisa.
Well, thank you for joining us. And I know you have an update, but first, let's go ahead and just get to know who you are. Tell me a little bit about yourself and why you decided to join the Third board.
I have been a nurse practitioner and nurse educated for all of my adult life, and we really moved to Orange County when I became Dean of Health Sciences over at Saddleback College. When I got there, we knew little, and it required a move to Orange County. We didn't know much about it, but everybody said, you need to live in Laguna Woods. So we took that advice. That was a little over 10 years ago, and although I retired from my position at the end of 2017, we are still here. While I was the dean, it was a very demanding position. So although we did as much as we could, I really wasn't able to get involved in as many activities and the workings of the village. But since my retirement, I've been able to do that. I've been on the board, was seated in November, and really looking forward to hopefully contributing to the community.
Wow, well, that's awesome. Now, you know, Saddleback, we do talk to them quite a bit about their emeritus classes.
And that was actually why the director of the emeritus program, her office was right across from mine.
Oh.
So she had lots of time to tell me about it.
Oh my gosh. It's
and she said, there's only one place.
That's so funny.
And I've thanked her ever since.
And she's a great proponent for our station, that is for sure. She's a crack up. Well, that's awesome. Well, good for you. And now, of course, you are able to give a lot of time to the board and lots of other activities. So why did you decide to be on the board?
I guess service to my community and to others has really been the focus of my adult life. Mm-hmm. And so I was really looking forward to being able to do this much sooner. And as I had said, wasn't able to because of work. Sure. And so I'm just hoping to contribute. My role right now is as a new member, I am chair of the Water Resource Committee. And with that being so important for us here in South County, where the only place we get water is from somewhere else.
Right.
And because the water bill at Third is approaching $3 million a year. So we've got everything that we can do, both on the residential side and the landscape side is doing their bit. We will. And you'll hear more about that. And I know we are so lucky to have two of the directors of El Toro Water District, residents of Laguna Woods, and advisors to our committee. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, we do have regular discussions with the El Toro Water District. In fact, we were just talking with the director, Kay, and you know, it's interesting. She mentioned that last year, right when all of the COVID stuff happened, the water consumption dropped. But now things are kind of getting back into, you know, into the groove, and the water consumption is going through the roof. So
and of course we're all home. So yes, we're using more water, but it seems that the consumption and the bill for Third Mutual associated with it just keeps going up. So we've all got to do our part.
Well, yeah, we're not getting enough rain, obviously. So we have to make sure that we do certainly save. So that's good.
Well, and all that wonderful rain that we've recently had would be very exciting, except most of that ends up in the ocean. It drains off to the ocean, not to our water system. So again, as I say, I'm excited, looking forward to it, to having some educational programs for residents, getting them involved because we all can do our part, and working with our two advisors, Catherine Freshley and Kay Havens, who are the directors.
Right. Oh, that's awesome. That's good. So now you have an update from Third's meeting. So what's going on there?
Well, lots of things actually, and I have to tell you that, and to our listeners, that the meeting on Tuesday, Third's meeting this past Tuesday, was a really full meeting. Lots and lots of things happened, lots of information, and I urge any of our members who missed that meeting to watch any of the reruns. It was really quite full. Director Muchnick gave an update on what we're doing to examine, resolve, work through the problems associated with insurance and the rising costs of that. He gave an incredibly thorough report of where we are, which is a work in progress, And again, that's why I urge people to listen to that. Along those lines, while Director Muchnick talked about what we're doing, Director Parsons gave a very thorough, gave responses to many of the questions that our residents have been submitting related to the CCNR revision election, a lot of which was motivated by our mandate through those CCNRs to have 100% insurance coverage and the new evaluations. So while Director Muchnick talked about what we're doing, Director Parsons talked about why we're doing it and really directly responded to questions. In addition, we passed 2 resolutions. One was the social media policy, which really only affects directors, present and past. It does not affect the residents, and really emphasizes that social media is not where Third conducts its business, and those things that should retain to business stay there. The other policy that does really relate to residents is related to barbecues. And the purpose of it was really primarily safety. We've had 2 fires in the village related to barbecues, particularly in our multi-story buildings. And so the new policy, it doesn't affect any of the it's personal barbecues. It doesn't affect any that people have and existing barbecues. But if they live in a multi-story building, when they replace the one they have, it would have to be electric, which makes some sense. So there isn't what we call open flame. And ultimately, charcoal grills anywhere in the village, even in the individual residences that are not multi-story buildings, will no longer be permitted because that's a fire. So those 2 things, very important. They were both passed. And again, those 2 recaps by our directors, Muchnick and Parsons, would be really informational for our residents.
Oh, that's great. I mean, I've interviewed both of them, and they are very thorough. So you should be enjoying your meetings because they're, like you said, they're jam-packed with lots of great stuff, and they've been doing an awful lot of things, even during COVID. I mean, there was so much going on behind the scenes, and we adapted to Zoom, and now all the Zoom meetings, and so it's been great. So, well, good. Well, thank you so much for the update and getting to know you. I am sure we will see you again.
Yes, and thank you so much. It was great to share what we've been doing. I look forward to another session in the future.
All right, Donna, thank you so much. And we'll be right back after this.